Are we good? All right. Good evening. It is Miss Lynn coming to you live from Manitowoc Public Library. I am here with Katie from Glaze and Paint. She is going to lead us through our fabulous fab project of a painted pumpkin. Take it away, Katie.
Hi, everybody. Like she said, I'm Katie. You may know me from Glaze and Paint. We're located on Washington Street here in Manitowoc. So we do have these pumpkins that we're painting today. They're made out of wood. You may have gotten a kit from here or from Glaze and Paint. And if you haven't gotten your kit, we should still have a few at Glaze and Paint later this week as well. So if you're interested, send us a private message too. So I'm going to walk you step by step on how to make this pumpkin, where each side is going to be a little different with a different face on it. So first things first, you should be wearing paint clothes, or just be very careful not to get it on your clothes because it might stain your clothes. It might not wash out because this is going to be acrylic paint, okay? So either wear paint clothes or an apron or something that you don't mind if it does get paint on it. You're also going to want to put either like some paper towel or a tablecloth or some newspaper down on your table or workspace. That way, if it gets on your table, you can just throw this out or wash this instead of having to wash your table, because we don't want to stain that either. So I'm going to use paper towel. I'm just going to put it on my table here. And you can do it outside too if you'd like. It's pretty nice out today or this week. You could always do it then too. So I'm going to go through what's in the kit first. So if you have our kit, there are written instructions, which is pretty much what I'm going to go through today in the video. And then we also have our block of wood here. We have some brushes, paints. We have orange, green, brown, and black. And remember, that's acrylic paint. And then we also have this little tiny wood piece for the stem. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to take our block of wood. And we're going to take the orange paint first. And whichever brush you're most comfortable with, so in each of these steps, you can use any brush that you would like. And even if you have some brushes at home, you can use those too if you want. So first things first, we're going to paint this entire block with the orange paint. I'm going to do the top and the sides. You can do the bottom if you'd like to. I'm not going to do the bottom because you're not really going to see it when you put it down, but you can do the bottom if you want to, okay? Now with this kind of paint, sometimes I like to do multiple layers of paint to get a really nice bright color. So if you want to do multiple layers, you can definitely do that too. And then each of these blocks of wood, they're all unique because we cut and sand each one individually. So no two are going to be exactly alike. Some of them have these knots in it. They have different patterns on the wood. So sometimes it might even take a couple layers of paint if you want to cover up some of those different patterns and things. You can always do a few layers. Now this paint does dry pretty fast, but if you want it to dry faster with an adult supervision, you could use a hair dryer, and they can help you dry it with a hair dryer, and that'll just speed up drying time a little bit. But otherwise, you can let it air dry. There's no real rush. So we're going to paint this whole block here first. We always want kind of a nice smooth coat of paint, so we don't want any globs of paint. So just keep it nice and smooth so it dries evenly. You can always go over in another layer of paint. This paint will wash out of your hands, so if you get it on your hands or on your skin, that's okay. It'll wash off of your skin. Just be careful with your clothes, as I said before. So we're just covering the entire thing, and there should be more than enough paint of each color. So you can always do a couple layers. You should not run out of paint. I just have the one side left here. And again, you can do the bottom if you want to, but I'm not going to do the bottom of mine because that's kind of where it sits. But you can. Completely up to you because it's your piece. And I'm going to show you how to make the one that I have up here, but if you want to use your creativity, you can make changes too because it's your masterpiece. So I have my entire block in orange. So then we're going to let it dry, or we're going to use a hair dryer. Remember, you can, with adult supervision, use a hair dryer. I just so happen to have a dry one already done here. So next, we're going to paint this little stem part. We're going to paint this brown. So you can either use the same brush by rinsing it in water and then drying it off really good with a paper towel, or you can use a different brush if you have a different brush. So we're going to use the brown. And you can paint the entire little stem. And there are a few different styles of these stems, so not everybody's are going to be the same of these either. Everybody's is going to be a little different. And again, you can paint the bottom if you want to, but you won't really see the bottom of this either. And again, if you want to do a couple layers of paint, you can definitely do that. You won't see your brush strokes as much if you do 2 layers or more. I'm going to do the top here. Okay, so I have my entire stem painted now. Okay, so again, you can either rinse this brush out in some water or you can use a different brush. And then just make sure to dry it really good if you're not, or if you're using that same brush, okay? So next, we're going to do the faces on our pumpkin. So it's completely up to you. I'm going to show you how we made the faces on our example pumpkins and the ones that are on our handout here. But if you want to do a different kind of face, feel free to be creative. We can use pretty much any kind of different shapes that we know. We can use the squares, triangles, circles, but I'm going to show you how to make the ones that I have on the example here. And just so everybody can see, I'm going to do it on the whiteboard here, okay? So the first one, the eyes are going to be triangles. Now, if you don't want to start with the paint right away, you can always use a pencil first and pencil it onto your piece and then fill it in with paint if you would like. But once we get to the paint step, you can use, usually I like to use a nice small brush, and then we're using black paint. So you can pencil it first if you would like to. But for the first example here, the eyes are going to be triangles. And again, you can see them on our handout here too. The nose is also going to be a triangle. And then these all get filled in. Again, this will be with black paint. And just a little tiny brush you can use. And then the mouth on this one here, let's see if I can find it. Here it is. It's just a squiggly line. And remember, everybody's is going to be a little different. So that's going to be the first one that I have listed on here. And again, if you want to do something a little different, that's okay too. So that was the first one. So the next one here, the eyes are going to be closed like he's laughing. So it's going to be like a little rainbow, just a line that's almost like a rainbow. And then the nose is going to be a circle that's filled in. And then the mouth is just a big smile. So again, you can pencil this on if you want to first. And remember, each side is a different face. I didn't put any on the bottom, but you can if you want to. If you want to add another face on the bottom, you could always do that. So that was the second one. And again, they're also on this handout. So the next one, the eyes are going to be 2 ovals. But before we fill them in, we're going to put 2 circles off to the side. And then we fill in everything except for the circles. That way they're like little tiny pupils in the pumpkin. See, you kind of see that the pupil part is left orange. But if you want to fill it in completely, that's okay too. And again, we have that triangle for the nose. And this one's surprised. So he has a mouth that's going, oh, oval. And we fill that in too, like a surprise pumpkin. So we can have different emotions coming through in our pumpkin. We can have happy, surprised, scary if you want to do scary. So then the last one I have on this example pumpkin and on our handout here, the eyes are like little upside down letter V's. So it's like a triangle, but only the top two parts of the triangle. And then the nose is a filled in triangle. And the mouth is a big smile. But I left some teeth in there. So if you want to leave some teeth, you can just do little squares and leave the square part orange. And we're going to fill in the rest of the smile. That way the teeth are the little orange part there. But again, it's completely up to you. You can do any kind of faces you would like. You can experiment with different shapes. And again, pencil it in first if you want to, or you can go right into the paint. Completely up to you. So the next part here, we're going to do the top part of our pumpkin. So we're going to do the leaf and the vine part here. And later on, we're going to put that stem in the middle. But first we have to do the painted part, and then we'll put the stem on top too. So I'm going to demonstrate on my top part of my pumpkin here. And it really doesn't matter what the top and what the bottom is of your pumpkin, whichever face faces the right way up, that'll be the top. So just make sure you're painting on the top and not the bottom. We're going to use a nice small brush with green paint. So first I'm going to do my leaf. So starting in the middle, I'm going to do a leaf shape. So I'm going to paint it on here and then I'll put it on the whiteboard. It's like a football almost. So let me, different marker here. So if this is the top of my pumpkin, I'm going to do a leaf shape like this. And if you want to add more than one leaf, or if you don't want any leaves, that's okay too. Completely up to you because it's your piece, okay? But then we're going to make that leaf shape and then we're going to fill it in with green. And remember, if you want to do a couple layers of paint to get a really nice bright color, you can. But usually it covers pretty good with one. But it's completely up to you. So we're just going to fill in our leaf. And you can do bigger leaves, you can do smaller leaves. If you want to do a couple, completely up to you. So that's my leaf. So then next I'm going to add those vines. So the vines I have coming from the center, and they're going to just be little curlicues. And they can be however long you would like. They can go off the side of your pumpkin. You can add as many as you would like as well. Let's see at the top of my pumpkin here. And then if you can see, they kind of go right off onto the side, so you can see them kind of by the faces of my pumpkin too. And those can be any size you want them to be. So I just start in the middle, and they can be curly. They can be going all different directions, however you want them to be. And if at any time you want to dry this with the hair dryer too, you can do that too. Just remember to ask your parents first for their help. So I'm going to have one going over here. You can turn your pumpkin however it's most comfortable for you. You can add as many of these little vines as you'd like, all coming from the top center though of your pumpkin. Just gonna add little tiny curlicues here. So then I'm gonna have them continue down the side of my pumpkin. It could even go all the way to the bottom if you want it to. Every pumpkin is going to be a little different, just like in nature. Okay, so I think I've added all the vines that I want to here. And remember, yours will have the faces on each side as well. So next, we're going to add that stem. So this is going to be the final step. So if you're on the handout, it's on the back here. So the glue that we're going to use, there's no glue in your kit, but you can use any glue that you have at home. Ask your parents first which glue that you can use with their supervision. I'm using Elmer's glue. Most people have the Elmer's glue at home. Otherwise, if you want to use hot glue, again, with parent supervision. Or if you don't happen to have any glue, you can either come here to the library or to Glaze and Paint, and we can provide a little glue as well. So all you need to do is add just a little bit of glue to your stem. Really little bit here. Doesn't take much at all. We have our pumpkin. We're going to put it right in the center of the top of our pumpkin. Right in the middle where we had all of our vines start, and the leaf goes right in the middle. And again, you don't need a lot of glue at all, just enough to hold it on there, okay? Now, once these are completely dry, this paint can go indoors or outdoors. I always like to keep mine indoors, but you could always put it on your porch if you wanted to put it on your porch or somewhere outside. You could do that too. And then remember, you can take the library or Glaze and Paint. Just show us your finished project. It says that on the bottom of our handout too. But if you have any questions or anything, feel free to contact us at Glaze and Paint.
Thank you, Katie, for joining us tonight. In case you did not get to watch this whole video live, it will be posted on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube page. So if you need to go back and watch any of the parts of the video, you'll be able to do that. Miss Katie will be joining us again in November. I'm not going to tell you the project. We'll keep that as a surprise, but we will see Katie back here again in November. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you had fun with our fabulous pumpkins. See you next time.